A scare at a public swimming pool.
Terrifying.
A chemical leak sends 5 people to the hospital.
The sun is set on the last full week of spring. This Father's Day weekend, the heat returns.
Some RTD trains are crawling.
I would say that it's not without its challenges.
One of RTD's top bosses is offering an explanation.
And as Zach Bryan plays 2 big shows in Denver, it's Bring Your Dad to Work Day.
We always just told all of our kids dream big.
Dad's spending quality time with his country star son and tens of thousands of adoring fans. 9 News at 10 starts now.
Call it weather whiplash. Afternoon storms moved in quickly today, bringing rain, wind, even a little hail to the Denver metro.
Once those storms cleared out, though, pretty nice evening. For all the dads out there, beautiful Father's Day weekend forecast coming up, Lauren.
Well, that's exactly right. I like weather whiplash because we started off sunny, we saw some storms push through, and then the sun came out again. But some areas did get some pretty large hail with those storms, especially across the eastern plains where we saw up to golf ball size hail in Otis. Chatfield Reservoir in Clarkville saw about 1 inch in diameter hail, closer to ping pong size hail there. And then as we went through Vernon, Glenwood Springs, we saw anywhere from pea to nickel to quarter size hail. So we even saw lots of pea size hail all across the Denver metro area as these storms pushed through. Now, most of those storms are out of Colorado and moving through Nebraska and Kansas. We do have a couple of storms north of Fort Morgan that aren't moving very quickly. They're kind of just sitting here, dropping a ton of water and so many lightning strikes. That lightning and thunder, these areas are getting quite the light show this evening. But coming up in my 7-day forecast, we're going to talk more about these storms moving out, the hot weather that's going to be moving in, and what your Father's Day weekend will look like. All of that for you just ahead.
Lauren, thank you. A chemical leak at a public pool in Aurora sent people to the hospital today. This happened at the Del Mar Park Family Aquatic Center early this afternoon.
9 News reporter Lauren Scafidi joins us now from the pool. Lauren, what do we know about the people who went to the hospital?
7 people total were injured. 5 of them went to the hospital. Aurora Fire says none of those injuries were life-threatening. We were here and we watched as parents pulled up to drop their kids off to go swimming, for them just to be confused why no one was here. On a warm day in Aurora, the water here looks like glass.
I was shocked because today is free day. So, usually the line and everybody's just waiting to come inside. So I was shocked, to see it.
Cherie Taylor comes to the Del Mar Park Family Aquatic Center every summer with her family.
We love it. It's fun for the kids. They get to go down the slide and stuff.
She pulled up Friday around 3:15 to find the gates closed. The park closed at 2 when the pool's maintenance team found a pump leaking pool chemicals into the air.
Just terrifying to have your kids and think that they're going to go have a fun day at the pool and then have it be like leaking chemicals. Terrifying. Terrifying.
The Aurora Fire Department's hazmat team evacuated the pool, checked the air quality, and treated people who got hurt, 7 people in all. 5 of them were taken to the hospital. The city of Aurora says Del Mar Park Pool will stay closed until they make repairs. A strange silence.
It is, absolutely.
At this summer staple.
It's important to the community up here. Yeah. I'm sure that they can't wait to have this back and running.
There is no timeline for the repairs, and the city of Aurora says they will thoroughly investigate what caused that leak. Live in Aurora, Lauren Scafidi, 9 News.
Tonight, police in Aurora are looking for 2 people involved in a shooting at a Church's Chicken. This happened at the restaurant off Colfax and Oswego before 5 o'clock. Police say it started inside with a fight. A man pulled out a gun, shot another man who went to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. The shooter and the woman he was with took off. Police are still searching for them tonight. Also in Aurora, police say a group of people are impersonating law enforcement officials. They're pulling drivers over. Police say this has happened at least 3 times this week, twice in Aurora, once in North Glen. They say the impersonators are driving cars that sort of look like undercover police cars and wearing clothes very similar to law enforcement uniforms. In one case, they even impersonated an immigration officer. Aurora Police says federal agents will not stop you for a traffic stop. If you are pulled over, make sure this is someone in a marked police car with proper uniforms and badges. Police are also looking for another group of impersonators who pretended to deliver a package to a home in Aurora. Instead, police say they robbed the people living inside that home. This happened on Wednesday on South Richfield Street, not far from Quincy. Police say the robbers went to the door dressed in construction vests. One even had a package. When the family answered the door, the people forced their way in and robbed them. Nobody was seriously hurt. Anybody with information should call police.
Firefighters are making progress on the Interlochen fire burning in Lake County. They say that it started with somebody leaving a burning campfire on Forest Service land southwest of Leadville. Within the last hour, we learned that the fire has now grown to 600 acres and a significant jump in containment, now up to 15% contained. More than 200 people have been working that fire in various capacities. The Lake County Sheriff's Office is going to host a community meeting 10 o'clock tomorrow morning at the Leadville Lake County Fire Station. Firefighters up in Loveland say that lightning is what started a house fire there last night. They say it hit the attic space of a home on North Taft and West 50th just before 10:30. A severe thunderstorm at the time made it difficult for firefighters to get at that fire from their ladder and from the roof of the home. They were eventually able to get it under control, and no one was hurt.
A woman who insisted she was not a squatter, just living rent-free in a home in Lakewood, has now moved out. The 102-year-old home became empty last year when the homeowner died and did not leave a will. Mecca Busey moved in. During the time she lived there, police responded to the home nearly 20 times for complaints, including calls from neighbors referring to her as a squatter. Busey denies she was a squatter. She did not have a written lease. She claimed she had a verbal lease with the homeowner's granddaughter to live there in exchange for upgrading the house. Through public records, we found the granddaughter is considered a vulnerable adult who may not have the mental capacity to make decisions. We also found Busey has a criminal history of felony identity theft. The property is now in control of a public administrator who is appointed by the court system to figure out who should get the house. The locks have been changed, and the homeowner's granddaughter continues to live in another home with a caretaker.
The job of being Denver's top prosecutor is wide open for the first time since 2017. This race will be decided in the Democratic primary on June 25th. Leora Joseph and John Walsh are running. Joseph worked as a local prosecutor, and right now she runs the state's behavioral health office. She says she wants to prioritize crime victims, cases of gun violence, and protecting people living with severe mental health challenges.
So I plan to use the tools I have to really change how we move people into treatment, getting the courts to
Walsh is a former U.S. attorney for Colorado, has the endorsement from the current DA, Beth McCann. He says he wants to tackle youth violence and collaborate with the community to make downtown safer.
Bringing a combined government approach and community approach to making our central business district, our downtown, feel safe and be safe.
Leora Joseph actually worked in the current DA's office for a couple of months. DA Beth McCann says the departure was mutual. Walsh ran for Denver DA 20 years ago and lost that race. Next Wednesday, I will sit down with John Walsh and Leora Joseph together for an in-depth conversation, and you can see that next Wednesday night on Next. It is not unusual to see people basically crawling home after a big concert at Mile High, but even the most sober Zach Bryan fans will have the option to crawl home this weekend on a 10-mile-per-hour RTD train.
9 News reporter Marshall Zellinger spoke with a top boss at RTD today about their safety repairs with no end in sight.
It was a risk for this family that quacks to walk onto the tracks at the light rail station at Bellevue and I-25. So perhaps it's a good thing trains only come every 30 minutes here and after having to slow to 10 miles per hour.
This is us working to prevent a safety problem and making sure that it's safe.
After several stories of RTD slowdowns, Assistant General Manager Dave Jensen met with the media outside of the Bellevue light rail station. Between here and Park Meadows, the trains have to go 10 miles per hour because of rail burn discovered on parts of the track.
The concern from a safety standpoint is that the rail burn over time could develop a crack, and then over time that crack turns into a break. That's when there's a problem.
Instead of speeding a train up to 55 miles per hour and back down to 10 where the rail burn exists, the trains stay slow until they're through the areas of concern.
And ultimately the repair for some of it will be us cutting out some sections of rail.
On Friday afternoon, RTD provided hundreds of pages of inspection reports that we requested. At the start of the year, inspectors notated rail burn and rail defects. Jensen said RTD did not slow the train to 10 miles per hour until the rail burn reached 3 inches under new standards the agency started to follow last month.
We used light rail to make it to our RTD interview about light rail slowdowns.
but the only option to make it to the interview on time was to leave this station 1 hour, 20 minutes before the interview. There are 2 reasons. 1 train an hour because of rehab work on the sound barriers and because of sections of track where we can only go 10 miles an hour. We got here 50 minutes early. Had we waited for the next train, we'd be 10 minutes late. Is that sufficient as you're encouraging people to take the train?
Yes. I would say that it's not without its challenges.
Man, RTD's trains are just one big struggle bus these days. An E-Line train decided it was quitting time on the way to the Quitting Time tour at Mile High. It stopped running north of the Alameda station, so people got off and walked on the tracks down to the concert. RTD says the train lost power. Plenty of fans got to Mile High early to tailgate, and that included Zach Bryan's dad. We found him and his wife playing cornhole, hanging out with the people in the parking lot before the show. Dwayne Bryan told us he does this all the time. It's his favorite thing about visiting tour stops with his son.
Because when you're all up there in the stands and there's, 50,000 people, you don't get to know each other. Even when you're right next to each other. But out here, you get to know each other.
That is just the coolest thing. I love that. Zach Bryan's going to play another show at Mile High tomorrow night. So Dwayne will be here until Sunday. He says that he's going to go home, recharge the batteries a bit, then join the tour again in a couple of weeks. I absolutely love that. His son is seeing like major success playing stadium shows, and dad wants to hang out with his kids, so he goes on tour with them, and then he goes out and hangs out with the fans.
And how cool to see all the people who love what your son does. Like, just an awesome
if
way
you're
to
a parent,
celebrate your kid's success.
Yeah, it doesn't get any better than that. That's cool.
That is.